Driving is something most of us do every day, but in some parts of the United States, the roads are far more dangerous than you might imagine. From high accident rates and hazardous road conditions to reckless driving and unpredictable weather, some states pose serious risks for motorists. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 most dangerous states to drive in America. Whether you're a daily commuter, a long-haul truck driver, or planning a road trip, this list will give you insight into which states are the riskiest and why. We'll explore the key factors that make driving dangerous, from traffic accidents and poor road infrastructure to aggressive driving habits. Before we dive in, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest videos on road safety, travel, and transportation insights. Now, let's buckle up and see which states made the list. Number 10, Arizona. It is one of the most dangerous states to drive in the U.S., and the statistics clearly show why. The state averages a traffic fatality rate of around 13.2 deaths per 100,000 residents, placing it well above the national average. Urban areas like Phoenix and Tucson experience heavy congestion, while rural highways stretch for miles with minimal services, creating high-speed environments where accidents can be severe. Speeding is a major issue, contributing to nearly 30% of fatal crashes in the state. Distracted driving and aggressive behaviors, including tailgating and unsafe lane changes, are also widespread, making Arizona's roads particularly hazardous for both local commuters and long-haul drivers. Weather conditions further exacerbate the dangers of driving in Arizona. During the summer, monsoon storms bring heavy rain, flash flooding, and strong winds, which can lead to hydroplaning and multi-vehicle accidents. In contrast, extreme heat during peak summer months can cause vehicle malfunctions such as tire blowouts, engine overheating, or brake failures, particularly on long desert stretches. Wildlife crossings add another risk on rural roads, with collisions involving deer and other animals leading to serious injuries or fatalities each year. Combined with infrastructure challenges like narrow lanes, insufficient lighting on rural highways, and high traffic volume in urban centers, Arizona's roads demand constant vigilance and defensive driving to stay safe. Number 9, Tennessee. It is consistently ranked among the most dangerous states to drive in the United States, with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 14.4 deaths per 100,000 residents, higher than the national average. The state's roads present a mix of urban congestion and rural hazards. Cities like Nashville and Memphis experience heavy traffic, aggressive driving, and frequent rear-end collisions, while rural highways in the eastern and central parts of the state are often narrow, winding, and poorly lit. Speeding is a major factor in accidents, contributing to around 31% of fatal crashes, and impaired driving continues to be a significant problem, especially during weekends and holidays. Tennessee's geography also adds to the risks for motorists. The eastern part of the state is dominated by hilly and mountainous terrain, which includes sharp curves and steep grades that can catch drivers off guard. Weather plays a role as well, with occasional snow, ice, and heavy rain making roads slippery and reducing visibility. Limited shoulders on rural roads and areas with insufficient guardrails increase the severity of accidents, while long stretches between emergency services mean that response times can be delayed in critical situations. Between traffic congestion, aggressive driving, hazardous rural roads, and challenging weather conditions, Tennessee demands constant vigilance and defensive driving to minimize risks on the road. Number 8, Montana. It may be known for its breathtaking landscapes and open highways, but it is also one of the most dangerous states to drive in America. The state has a traffic fatality rate of around 14.5 deaths per 100,000 residents, among the highest in the nation. While Montana's wide rural roads may seem safe at first glance, long stretches of isolated highways often encourage speeding, and accidents tend to be severe due to high speeds and delayed urgency response time. Drivers frequently encounter sharp curves, steep grades, and sudden turns in mountainous areas, which can be especially hazardous for trucks and larger vehicles. Impaired driving and distracted driving contribute significantly to the state's high accident rate. Weather is another major factor making Montana's roads risky. Harsh winters bring snow, ice, and freezing temperatures, creating slippery conditions that can quickly lead to multi-vehicle collisions. Fog and sudden storms further reduce visibility, while wildlife crossings, especially deer and elk, pose a constant threat along rural routes. Combined with limited infrastructure in remote areas, long emergency response times, and sparse lighting on many highways, Montana's drivers must exercise extreme caution. Whether navigating urban centers like Billings or venturing through the expansive countryside, defensive driving, and preparedness are crucial for staying safe on Montana's roads. Number 7, Alabama. It consistently ranks among the most dangerous states to drive in the U.S., with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 15.1 deaths per 100,000 residents, one of the highest in the country. Rural highways in Alabama, particularly in the northern and central regions, are often narrow, poorly lit, and lined with sharp curves, increasing the risk of severe accidents. Speeding, impaired driving, and distracted driving are major contributors, with alcohol-related crashes accounting for nearly 30%. Urban areas like Birmingham and Mobile also experience heavy congestion, aggressive driving behaviors, and frequent rear-end collisions, making both city streets and rural roads hazardous for motorists. Weather and infrastructure add to the dangers in Alabama. The state experiences heavy rainfall, occasional tornadoes, and flooding, which can reduce visibility and make roads slippery. Many rural highways lack adequate shoulders, guardrails, or proper signage, while potholes and uneven road surfaces create additional hazards. Long stretches between emergency services in rural areas mean that accident victims may face delayed medical attention, increasing the severity of injury. Drivers in Alabama must remain constantly vigilant, obey speed limits, and practice defensive driving to navigate the combination of aggressive motorists, hazardous roads, and unpredictable weather safely. Number 6, Louisiana. It is one of the most dangerous states for drivers in the U.S., with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 15.3 deaths per 100,000 residents, making it one of the highest in the nation. Urban areas like New Orleans and Baton Rouge experience heavy congestion, aggressive driving, and frequent rear-end collisions, while rural highways face their own hazards, including narrow lanes, sharp curves, and poor lighting. Speeding, impaired driving, and distracted driving are major contributors to accidents, with alcohol-related crashes accounting for nearly 34% of all fatal collisions. Combined with frequent congestion, Louisiana's roads pose a high risk to both local commuters and long-haul drivers. Weather and infrastructure challenges further exacerbate the dangers. Louisiana is prone to heavy rainfall, flooding, and hurricanes, which can create slippery roads, reduce visibility, and cause sudden detours. Many roads, especially in rural areas, are poorly maintained with potholes, inadequate signage, and limited shoulders, increasing the likelihood of accident. Additionally, long stretches between emergency services in remote areas mean that response times can be slow, making crashes potentially more severe. Between unpredictable weather, risky driver behaviors, and challenging road conditions, Louisiana demands constant caution, defensive driving, and preparedness to stay safe on the road. Number 5, South Carolina. It ranks among the most dangerous states to drive in the United States, with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 14.8 deaths per 100,000 residents, well above the national average. The state's roads present a mix of urban congestion and rural hazards. Cities like Charleston, Columbia, and Greenville experience heavy traffic, frequent accidents, and aggressive driving behaviors, while rural highways often have narrow lanes, sharp curves, and limited lighting. Speeding is a major factor in accidents, contributing to around 32% of fatal crashes, and alcohol-impaired driving remains a persistent issue, particularly during weekends and holidays. Weather and infrastructure challenges add to the risks in South Carolina. The state experiences heavy rainfall and occasional flooding, which reduce road traction and visibility, while potholes, worn pavement, and poorly marked lanes further increase accident risks. Tourist-heavy areas see a spike in traffic-related incidents as drivers unfamiliar with the roads navigate busy streets. Emergency response times in rural parts of the state can be delayed, increasing the severity of accidents when they occur. Between heavy traffic, aggressive driving, rural hazards, and unpredictable weather, South Carolina remains a state where motorists must remain alert and practice defensive driving at all times. Number 4, Arkansas. It is one of the most dangerous states to drive in the U.S., with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 16.1 deaths per 100,000 residents, among the highest in the nation. The state's rural highways are particularly hazardous, with narrow lanes, sharp curves, steep hills, and limited lighting creating challenging conditions for drivers. Speeding, distracted driving, and impaired driving are major contributors to accidents, with alcohol-related crashes accounting for nearly. Urban areas like Little Rock and Fayetteville also face congestion, aggressive driving, and frequent collisions, making both city streets and country roads risky for motorists. Weather and infrastructure issues further increase the danger. Arkansas experiences heavy rainfall, occasional tornadoes, and winter ice or snow in certain regions, which can make roads slippery and reduce visibility. Many rural roads lack proper shoulders, guardrails, or clear signage, while potholes and uneven surfaces create additional hazard. Emergency response times in remote areas can be long, meaning accidents are often more severe. Drivers in Arkansas must remain vigilant, practice defensive driving, and anticipate both environmental and human factors to navigate the state's roads safely. Number 3, New Mexico. It is one of the most dangerous states for drivers in the United States, with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 17.0 deaths per 100,000 residents, making it one of the highest in the nation. Long stretches of isolated highways encourage speeding, and rural roads often lack proper lighting, shoulders, and signage. Urban areas such as Albuquerque and Santa Fe face their own challenges, including congestion, aggressive driving, and frequent accidents. Impaired driving is a major factor, with alcohol and drug-related crashes contributing to nearly 38% of traffic fatalities. These factors combine to make both city streets and remote highways hazardous for drivers. Weather and environmental conditions further compound the risk. New Mexico experiences extreme temperatures, from scorching summer heat to icy winter roads in higher elevations. Sudden storms, heavy rain, and occasional snow can create slippery conditions and reduce visibility, while desert landscapes mean long distances between emergency services. Wildlife crossings, particularly deer and elk, pose additional dangers on rural highways, often leading to severe collisions. Between environmental hazards, risky driver behaviors, and infrastructure limitations, New Mexico demands cautious and defensive driving to navigate safely. Number 2, Wyoming. It may be known for its wide open spaces and scenic highways, but it is one of the most dangerous states to drive in the U.S., with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 17.2 deaths per 100,000 residents, placing it among the highest nationwide. The state's long, rural highways encourage speeding, and accidents here are often severe due to high speeds and the remote nature of many roads. Urban centers like Cheyenne and Casper face congestion and aggressive driving, while rural areas often lack proper lighting, guardrails, and signage, making navigation difficult. Impaired and distracted driving contributes significantly to accidents, adding to the state's overall risk for motorists. Weather and environmental hazards make driving in Wyoming especially challenging. Winter brings snow, ice, and high winds, creating slippery roads and reducing visibility. Wildlife collisions, particularly with deer and elk, are common on rural highways and often result in serious injury. The vast distances between towns and limited access to emergency services mean that accidents can quickly escalate in severity. Drivers must remain constantly vigilant, practice defensive driving, and prepare for extreme weather and unexpected obstacles to stay safe on Wyoming's road. Number 1, Mississippi. It ranks as the most dangerous state to drive in the United States, with a traffic fatality rate of approximately 17.4 deaths per 100,000 residents, the highest in the nation. Rural roads dominate much of the state, and many are narrow, poorly lit, and lack proper shoulders or guardrails, increasing the risk of severe accidents. Speeding, impaired driving, and distracted driving are common, with alcohol-related crashes accounting for nearly 40%. Even urban areas like Jackson and Gulfport face traffic congestion, aggressive driving, and frequent accidents, making Mississippi a dangerous state for both city commuters and rural drivers alike. Weather and infrastructure challenges further exacerbate the hazard. Heavy rainfall, occasional flooding, and icy winter roads can reduce traction and visibility, while potholes and uneven surfaces increase the likelihood of accidents. Wildlife crossings, particularly in rural areas, contribute to collisions that are often serious. Emergency response times can be long in remote regions, meaning that accidents frequently have more severe outcomes. With a combination of risky driving behaviors, hazardous road conditions, and environmental challenges, drivers in Mississippi must exercise extreme caution, defensive driving, and preparedness to navigate the state's roads safely. Conclusion: from the busy streets of Alabama and Louisiana to the remote highways of Montana and Wyoming, these states prove that driving in America isn't always safe. Understanding which states are most dangerous can help drivers prepare, stay alert, and adopt safer driving habits. Always obey speed limits, avoid distractions, never drive under the influence, and drive defensively to protect yourself and others on the road. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos on road safety, driving tips, and transportation insights. Share this video with friends and family because every safe driver makes a difference. Stay alert, drive smart, and let's make America's roads safer together.